over the hills and far from mine. She's waiting for love to be realized. I'll send her my heart covered as a gift, and hope that you'll take it into.
Another issue that is, would I say, bugging people or making life difficult for most people is this problem of witchcraft, and it's at all levels. You have white witchcraft and you have white witchcraft. So, what would you say about white witchcraft?
Is there a good smartphone out there? And a bad smartphone? So again, you're still dealing with the same thing. Yeah. Is there good electricity and bad electricity? You're still dealing with the same source. It's all the same.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, and it's not needed. Again, look to the birds. Do they do witchcraft, good or bad? See? It's not that hard, is it? If I have a question, if I have a real question about things, I just look at the sun shining and it's like, oh, okay, there's my answer. I don't need it. You decide. You want a long explanation or you don't want the short one? See, when I give a short explanation, it's like, I don't get it. So that's why I do the long ones, because there's so many parts to it, because we've been so literalized. We don't even understand the simplest things, and we don't even understand the most complex things. That's why the world is like it is. That's why people do what they do. They don't even get why they're here and what they're doing. In communication today, it's duh. And so again, there are those that promote distortion, and it's understand we go through this learning curve of things. We all do. We all go through it. But at some point, you start to see what's going on. But at the same time, for yourself at least, you do something about it, or you just keep agreeing to it. It's like, oh, okay. It's like the old saying, death and taxes. It's like, okay, we agreed to that. It's like, this is what life is, death and taxes. Basically that's it. You're taxed while you're here, then you die. And really, overall, that's what it is, unless you wake up and recognize something else. And that's a personal choice. Not about everybody doing it. We're not here to save the world. We're only here to live our own adventure individually, uniquely, to present this for those that recognize it. And then the best part is that we can stand real with each other. We recognize each other, and we play our part, again, just like a baseball team. So, it's not that hard to resolve these things and to make sense with what to do here. So a step at a time. And what's the first idea? It's food, shelter, it's, the water, the air, whatever, that already exists. The water and the air is here. Now people have decided to destroy it and ruin it. I guess that makes sense too, you see? And all these issues that are created. So we have a world of issues. Why? Do people, just look at this and it's like, that's why I don't pay attention to what the newspaper says or the news anymore. I create my own position here, and that seems to make more sense to relate to people accordingly, because everything is about recognizing the is, because with that you will have everything that you would ever wanted or need. You will have it all, but you must recognize it, and that's a huge journey. That's all there is to it. If you don't, you kind of look at it at first, it's like, oh, okay, well, this is a cute idea and blah, 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 but it has nothing to do with the world of distortion that I'm living in. So again, as you compare the two, does it make sense to keep living the distorted life? Or do you want to take on the adventure like Robin Hood did and, do something different, that makes a little more sense? So Here is the sheriff of Nottingham stealing money from everybody, taxing them, and Robin Hood's decided to take the money from those that took the money from others and give it back and distribute it so everything's for everybody. And it takes courage to do that. He risks his life to do that. Yeah. Every day his life's in danger. They're after him. They want to kill him. They want to get rid of him because they want their distorted system. So we're not against the system. That's not it. Neither is Robin. He's just living his adventure. You see, that becomes the difference. He's not a do-gooder. He's just living his adventure. He sees the bigger picture. He has a heart to step up and create an activity where everybody else is not interested. But if everybody steps up and takes part in the adventure, well, then it becomes different, doesn't it? Yeah, it's agreement. So this is what we're doing. And, I just wait for people to step up. Again, it's the new presentation we're presenting to the world in so many different ways. And for the most part, even like the juice lady here, I mean, huge resistance. Yeah, we get it with everything. Even when I did the college concert, the first one, huge resistance. It's like they almost couldn't wait to say, no, we don't want you to do it. Get out of here. And we're just, it's just very simple. But this is how the world is. And so, but if you don't do something, then it doesn't get done. So, yes, Charles. The so-called answer that we need to anything is always right in front of us. We already have the answer. But we take the time to recognize it and then do it. Because again, in a physical sense, yes, we want activity. I like activity. My construction business, I loved it. So we want activity. So I suggest constantly. We've been through the reading stages. We went to the seminars. We've been brought up for this for lifetimes. And Paul just brought it back as a reminder, but not a lifestyle. It's not a lifestyle, being passive. We can go out there and sing songs about it. That's really cute, okay? But is that doing it? You see? So again, there's more to life than just that. It is really taking on a position, and we've established a lot here, and it is a risk-taker position. I'm surprised we're still here. Because the world does not want those that really are really standing real with all this. They do not want us at all. And so, but I like the challenge and I like the adventure. So, again, the answer is always there, isn't it, Charles? As you use the example of what life is. There's just different ways to say it, like the images that Ava and I have made. Life is. That's really what it is. And that's a completeness. But you have to learn to recognize it. So it's not a literalization. So again, when we do something in the world and we create a form of literalization, the intent should be to make sense with what you're creating, and it should point to the recognition of what life is. If it doesn't, then you're just circulating funny stuff in creation, and that's it. You're actually contributing to the distortion. And that's your choice. Everybody has the choice. And so I would say take the time to learn to see what you're doing. The answer always is. The sun shining, again, is the best example. Hey, the birds themselves, what are they doing? I look at the seagulls on the beach. What a great life. They sit there on the sand. They look out at the ocean. They're in the sun all day. They fly out there. They catch a few fish. They wash themselves. They fly around. What a great life. It's simple and real because they see the bigger picture that the tourists who come on the beach and trash the place and play their noisy, raunchy music, etc., don't see. Yeah. But they're sitting there giggling and whatever. That's fine. That's their thing. And then they go home and do the same thing. They trash everything as they drive back home down the road or whatever, throwing their trash out and their funny ideas, etc. They just constantly trash everything. And then when the seagulls are on the beach, they usually chase them and throw rocks at them or sand at them. That's a fun thing to do. When these individuals are demonstrating something real and essential, are they paying attention? I've never seen a tourist try and talk to a seagull. They're not interested. So again, we, we are the unique reality here, and because we are, it is demonstrated on the real side. Life itself backs us, and the boys do, because we're making sense of things. So again, we always have the answer, Charles. It's not that hard. Go ahead.
Thank you, Duane. I asked this question because, particularly in respect with regard to what they call black magic and white magic, and you've specified that they're actually two faces of the same coin. But then people would try to tout white magic by singing its virtues, what it has done for mankind, and that it is a connecting factor between all the, let's say, all the religions, metaphysical groups, philosophies, and all the like. And
well, in that content, I'm going to jump in here, young man. In that content, before I forget, you're correct. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you just named off the different categories and the different invented institutions, whatever systems. Yeah, in that content, yes, it does. It does so. Success with them? No, I wouldn't say that. I don't see any real success there, but there is experience that a person gains to eventually recognize what not to do. Okay, the success, just like when you go through a college or university and you get these degrees, it looks to be, it appears to be success, but really the end result is, where does it go? It is not success at all, is it? It goes to a dead-end job that basically feeds the demise of the planet. But it looks good, doesn't it? And so the white and black magic, yeah. This is where people step up and they become their own absolute. You see? This is the master and guru days. It's like, oh, okay, I'm the master now. And then this is this and this. There's a movie called Masters of the Universe. And really, these are people that want to control others. And Paul, yes, he used that idea. People will say, well, gee, Paul used it. Well, yes, they did. They played that role for a while, you know, because that was a temporary role. And the boys, they're not playing that role anymore, you know, but they did for that time to attract people because that's what it was at that time. And when I came into this and eventually I saw that, you know, the days of masters and gurus are gone. You know, there's no more masters and followers and members, you know. They're really the subordinates. The Queen calls them subjects, okay? You are my subject, okay? That's an interesting statement in the English language, okay? You're a subject, you know, kind of like a paragraph in some editorial. Oh, this is the subject we're covering today, you see? So you're just kind of hit and miss or whatever the idea is. And so, yes, it appears that these things play a part, and they do. And I would suggest see the movie The Illusionist. It's very good, and it plays a part, and it's very romantic, and I really like that movie. It's really cool. The end result is, getting through all the phenomena that the individual produced to a better position, etc. You might say that, but it's not, boy meets girl finally, and they get together and everything's cool. But, again, that's a step. But seeing all this and what's taking place, and yes, we as people, we can decide anything. So we build up and we market the ideas that, oh, this is good and this is bad. Again, you always have the opposites here. And with us, I don't focus on the opposites. I see the opposites. They have a place in cause and effect creation. They do, action and reaction. That's the opposites. But the reality of us is an isness. It's a completeness already. So, yeah. Overall, and Paul warned about it too, the psychic sciences, and that's what they are. Yes, and we do dabble in those things, even when we're on a specific diet or a diet that we're creating. You're dealing with cause and effect. But again, many people think, well, this is the ultimate, this will fix everything in your life. No, it won't. It won't at all. It has nothing to do with diet or whatever. You know what'll fix everything? Your real awareness. When you're standing as a being of light, you don't need diet. You see? So there's one person they're gonna fix on they're gonna focus on their diet, like Jack LaLanne. Okay, he did good all the 80 years he was here or whatever. He looked cool. Look at where he is now, as opposed to focusing on the is by the end of the lifetime. Where's that individual? Big difference. So, diet was cool for a while, looked cool for a while, Jack. Now you got to come back in a future lifetime. Now you got to deal with a lot of stuff. Are you going to remember that you were here and what you did? See? So, these magical things, yes, they're there. We know that. Hey, there's worse magic or black magic. That's the atomic age we're in. That's all black magic. But they're marketing it as a good thing, just like geoengineering is a good thing. It's in the textbook. So we see these things, but we don't want to spend too much time on them. I've said a lot of things about them. The bigger picture is we only have so much time to present this reality, because then that's it. And it is recognizing the is. And without that recognition, people are caught in time and space. Doesn't matter how good their life is. Doesn't matter how nice of a person they are. They're still caught in it because they have unconscious agreements with the system, you see. And people like being nice and like being good. Okay, that's a quality, simply because when their life is working the way they think it should according to society, well, yeah, it's all cool because, hey, everything's good. It's a great day. But they don't see how they're unconsciously held to the agreement of the system that they're in. You see, that's the niceness they're considering. So again, we have black magic and white magic going on all the time. And so the social structure and how it's been created and agreed to, you might say, is white magic. It really is, because it's a creation. Again, did the birds do it? Do they create this stuff? No. The cell phone's supposed to be really a good thing. We have this great communication. It's a form of white magic, but realistically, the black magic is there too, because it gives you cancers and tumors, and it's mind control. You see, everything has two sides here. So it's not that one can separate from the other, and this becomes the test in creation with the opposites, and that is that once the individual really recognizes that position in the etheric realm, which is the fifth level, and that is that there comes a point where they're shown that they have the opportunity to choose to be, you might say, a white magician and a black magician. And so most people, without the awareness of their real awareness, will choose the white or black magician. Some will choose the black one, just like Darth Vader. Feel the power of the dark side. You see? So again, and he did change his mind after a while, change his attitude, whatever, saw things more so. But in the meantime, things take place, and it just depends upon how long it's there. So again, take a look around you, and it's not only in Africa, Charles. No. You see, you're trying to section things out here again, and that is that no. Again, the Africans look at the United States. Oh, that's the big opportunity. No, the whole planet's in a matrix. It only appears differently. And when we go into the astral worlds, it appears that, oh, we're in heaven. But guess what? It's a bigger illusion. Yes, it's fine to have that situation, whatever. But if you're held consciously and unconsciously to it, then really you're still in creation and you haven't recognized the is. So the real freedom that you really want is a recognizable reality. You don't have it, you see? That becomes the difference. So again, all the opposites, we can call it voodoo, we can call it black magic, whatever. But hey, in the United States, it's bigger than ever. People are deceived by it, by the simple fact of the marketing ploy is black magic. And the white magic is the marketing ploy that, oh no, this is a good thing. You see? Yes, go ahead, Charles.
Yeah, Dan, thank you. And this thing of witchcraft is something that everyone fears. And especially in Africa, how would you advise against the forces of witchcraft?
Be like the birds. Don't pay attention to it. Be a bird brain, okay? Sometimes you have to play duh. I do this with the people I know, especially my so-called family relationships. You know, if I say something that makes sense, they don't want to hear it. So I don't say anything. To my daughter, I'm the duh dad. I play that role. You know, I let her just say whatever. She's the know-it-all. I've seen her on the real side many times too. I've said to her, "Oh, you know more than life itself." Well, you know, that's her right to decide that. And you know, we really don't have a relationship because she's decided it. Not me, but she thinks it's me. So again, everything's a little bit backwards here, isn't it? And we have to deal with it. So I would rather stay busy with people that do pay attention, and we learn to see each other, etc. So, you know, how do you deal with anything? You just, you know, again, we all have to deal with the effects of things here. We got the chemtrails, we got radiation. Yeah, you got black magic, you got thought forms. All these things you've got going on. And so the best thing to do, especially yourself, and how you interpret these things. It's how you interpret it. Just like the boys. They have learned to see and surpass what exists here simply by the fact how they recognize what's taking place. That becomes the difference. So it's kind of like what Paul used to say, problem solving. You know, you solve one problem, you got 10 more. The idea here is that if you just stay in the area of problem solving like a psychologist, excuse me, or a psychiatrist, hey, unless you're paid for it, yeah, again, that's what I feel like many times is that, but it's really not meant to be that. I'm not here to solve problems. I'm here to simply create references so that people can recognize the all is, and then recognize how to step up and be real with the whole of life, etc. So, but that's huge. Most people have their attitudes, and just like Kelsey and I were talking about, the cabbage and kale fermentation and how it affects people differently. Well, what people don't see is that in their minds they're just thinking of a physical thing happening. You know, it's like, oh, I feel better. You know, the body's better, it's healthier, whatever. But no, a lot of people resist this. First of all, it's like, ew, what is this stuff? You know, it's like, oh, I've never had that before. Oh, I hate the taste. You know, it's like, oh, this sucks. You know, so again, all those little attitudes, they also imply the whatever is going to take place with that individual. This is what people don't see. You have not only physical, but you have emotional, you have your memory, you have your mind, and you have your unconscious part that are also affecting the physical body and how this thing is going to transpire with you. See, people don't see the bigger picture. They're just thinking that, oh, I'll just take this vitamin and I'll feel better. Okay, for some people it does work like that because they're willing. But when there's resistance or attitudes with people, well, then all of a sudden funny things start to happen. You know, they may pass out from just smelling it. It's like, oh, geez, oh, you know, because they resist. So it's going to be different with everybody, and everything is. So, again, this is a melting pot here, and the adventure of presenting something that makes sense, something in some way created that refers to the true reality, because with that, we all stand real and see each other. So in the meantime, yes, we're dealing with cause and effect, which is white and black magic in its own way. Hey, the electricity in our walls. The Indians didn't have electricity. Do they have wiring? Were their tents, teepees wired? No, they didn't have it. And to us, it's a great thing because we can plug our toaster in. Yeah, it's cool. And we have lights. Yes, it can be so. But it would be better on what Tesla discovered as opposed to what we're using, which actually harms us. That doesn't make sense, but everybody's in agreement to that. Just the simple fact of what we got. That's black magic. But it appears to be white magic. doesn't it? It's the appearance of things. And this is the Maya that we've come through in different paths, but we forget that. So that's why I broke it down to not only Maya and karma, but cause and effect, because this is a literal world. So this interpretation of this reality should make more sense, where people can more so recognize what's taking place, etc. But still, again, most people have resistance. They don't want to see more. They just want to be self-decided, self-convinced. So yes, this world operates mainly it operates on white and black magic, and they're both the same. They both go nowhere. They only seem to accomplish something.